Hello again. Ray Franz, now in the wake of his disfellowshipping, reflects upon what the Watchtower tried to do with the situation that was burgeoning in Watchtower land, and the explanations they tried to make for what was going on to the public. Shepherding the flock is the heading of this section. He starts with a reference to 3 John. This character Diotrephes, who is only mentioned there. And this is what 3 John 9 and 10 says in the New English Bible. Diotrephes lays baseless and spiteful charges against us. Not satisfied with that, he refuses to receive our friends, and he interferes with those who would do so and tries to expel them from the congregation. Ray goes on, when questioned by outsiders, including newspapers and news magazine reporters, about treatment according to any who cannot conscientiously embrace every teaching of the Watchtower Society, organization representatives present a picture of almost benign tolerance. An article in the Chicago Tribune of June 25, 1983, quotes a Watchtower representative, Samuel Hurd, as saying, quote, "The unrest has been generated by a relatively few disgruntled former members, who, in most cases, have turned their back on Scripture. We're not spiritual policemen," Hurd said. "We don't try to stifle anyone in his opinion." Unquote. The public relations director of the Canadian branch of the Watchtower Society, Walter Graham, is quoted in a Toronto newspaper as unable to understand why dissenters feared reprisals from the church. The article states, quote, "If someone doesn't want to live by our principles, he's free to leave. There's no badgering here, no physical or emotional harassment," he said. Mr. Graham added that grievances are handled at the congregational level by committees of elders. "We don't dictate from headquarters. We have a very open organization that allows for a great deal of individuality," he maintained. And because Walter Graham served in the Bethel here in Ontario, where Vivian and I served at the time, we were just married about a year at this point, I remember feeling, as an elder myself, a certain discomfort with the face Walter Graham was putting on to what was actually going on. I had heard about not only the Ray Franz situation indirectly through the world's media, but also the James Penton situation, which had developed in the same period. Ray goes on, at the international headquarters in Brooklyn, public relations representative Robert Baltzer responded in similar fashion. Those public relations words, however, in no way fit the facts. Though scores of examples could be cited, one that is perhaps as illustrative as any has its source in the country of Ireland. 2 men in Dublin, friends and fellow witnesses, read the article in Time magazine describing my disfellowshipment. They phoned the reporters who wrote the article, questioning them in disbelief. Then they phoned Peter Gregerson, and finally me. Both were elders. One was a full-time pioneer, and they were among the most active witnesses in their country. They arranged to fly to the United States in March of 1982. They spent 5 days with us. Each in his own way seemed prototypically Irish. Martin Merriman was rosy-cheeked with dark curly hair and quick of wit. John May was lean and blonde with a rather poetic nature in speech. They were both completely uninhibited in the questions they put to us. After 5 days, they told us that their real interest in coming to the United States was to express to the governing body personally the concern they and others in Ireland felt as to the harsh trend evident in the organization. They asked what possibility I saw of their being heard by the governing body. I told them I thought it remote in the extreme, a virtually futile effort, that at best they might hope to have 1 or 2 members meet with them in a private room. They seemed inclined to doubt that this was really so. To them it was the most natural thing in the world that the members of the governing body, being their Christian brothers, would be willing to give them at least a brief audience in the interest of the Irish field in which they were so active. As Martin Merriman later expressed it, we had complete confidence that our governing body would meet with us and straighten the whole matter out, no question about it. Following their departure from Gadsden, they telephoned governing body member Jack Barr. Barr's wife had been a missionary in Ireland and knew John May's family well. They told Jack that they had been in Gadsden, had talked with Peter and me, and had questions they wanted resolved. Startled, he asked, "Do you think that was wise?" John May replied, "It may not be wise organizationally, but we're lovers of truth, and the truth is what is important." Jack told them that the members of the governing body were very busy, and that he doubted that a meeting with them would be possible. They had traveled thousands of miles at great expense, they said, and wanted to speak with someone who could give them a definite answer. In the next segment, what will happen to those lovers of truth from Ireland?